All right, let's get right into it. In the world of asset management, something huge is changing under the surface. And no, it's not about new products or even market volatility. It's about data. Specifically, how a firm's data architecture is now, more than ever, the one thing that will determine if it succeeds or if it fails.
We're really starting to see two completely different kinds of firms emerge, and the line that separates them, it's all about how they see their data. On one side, you have firms that are just wrestling with these fragmented, siloed systems, a total mess. And on the other, you've got firms that see their business for what it truly is, a connected network of relationships. It kind of makes you wonder, which camp does your firm fall into?
And look, this isn't just some small gap in capability we're talking about. This is becoming a deep structural divide. The key thing to understand here is that this isn't just another trend. No way. This is a fundamental shift in what it actually takes to win in this industry.
So let's dig into this widening gulf a little more, because having an outdated architecture isn't just a minor headache anymore. The consequences are getting severe, and they're hitting everything from client retention all the way to regulatory compliance. The firms that are winning, they are genuinely client-centric. They're quick on their feet, and they're getting really good at anticipating what a client needs before they even ask. And the struggling firms, well, they're basically being buried alive by their own data. Their compliance teams are stretched to the breaking point, their advisors have no context, and the client experience just feels broken. And the quiet truth, their best clients are already looking for the exit. Now, what's so fascinating here is that the problem isn't a lack of data. Come on, most firms are absolutely swimming in it. The real root cause is architectural. For decades, the whole industry has been built on relational databases. Just think of them as these massive, interconnected spreadsheets with neat little rows and columns. And that was fine when the business was all about simple transactions. But today, investment management is all about relationships. Okay, so how does this geeky architectural problem actually translate into real-world costs? We can really break it down into three big areas that, well, every single business leader is losing sleep over.
These disconnected systems create this triple threat. You've got revenue leakage, where golden opportunities are just slipping through the cracks. You've got hidden risk, where you have no idea what your true exposure is. And you've got operational inefficiency, where your costs and manual grunt work are just spiraling out of control.
First up, the revenue problem. I mean, think about it. When a client's info is scattered across a dozen different systems, portfolio data over here, lending data way over there, nobody has the full picture. So your advisors are flying blind. They're missing the key moments, a business sale, a family transition, a major liquidity event. Those are the moments that truly matter. And when you miss them, you lose clients and you leak margin. Simple as that. Next, let's talk risk. Risk is almost never just in one place. It spreads, it propagates through connections. And yet, so many firms today still can't answer a really basic question in real time. What is our true, total exposure to a single counterparty once you factor in all the indirect relationships? The old systems just can't answer that question well. And this visual just nails it. You can see how risk can cascade through this insane web of counterparties, mandates, funds, and assets. A problem in one tiny corner can set off a chain reaction that is completely invisible to your siloed systems, right up until it's way too late. And finally, you've got the efficiency problem. Just talk to anyone in a compliance department. This data fragmentation is an absolute nightmare. Teams are spending days, not hours, but days, manually stitching information together just for basic AML and KYC reviews. The simplest questions take forever to answer, which completely undermines confidence and just drives costs through the roof. So what on earth is the solution? Well, it all starts with a fundamental shift in how you think. You've got to stop thinking about data in tables and start seeing your business for what it actually is, a living, breathing network. On the left, that's the old world of relational databases. To find a connection, the system has to do this slow, painful process of cross-referencing multiple spreadsheets. They call it a join. But on the right, you have a graph model. And here's the magic. The relationships themselves, things like has an advisor or owns this asset, are actually stored as part of the data. They're not an afterthought, they are front and center. So what is a graph database? Let's keep it simple. It's a database designed to store information just like you draw it on a whiteboard. You've got nodes, which are things like clients or assets, and you have relationships that explicitly connect them. In other words, it's a model that actually mirrors how your business works in the real world. So, Okay, that's the tech, but what's the real advantage here? Adopting this new way of thinking isn't just some technical upgrade. It unlocks huge business benefits by turning all that raw data you have into powerful, actionable insight. At the end of the day, the goal is to evolve. You have to move away from the old standard of simply knowing the account and get to the new expectation of truly knowing the person, understanding their whole world, their connections, and what they're trying to do. And this right here perfectly illustrates what we're talking about. A graph architecture lets you build a true client 360 view. It puts the client or the household right in the center and connects all those scattered data points, advisors, products, accounts, institutions, into one single coherent picture. This then unlocks three critical capabilities. First, entity resolution, which is a fancy way of saying you can finally create one golden record for each client. That then enables householding, so you can understand the entire family and business network. And finally, it gives you institutional context, mapping out that complex web of decision makers and subsidiaries. And this is where the rubber really meets the road. This is how architecture becomes a competitive advantage. Instead of sitting back and waiting for a client to call you, you can analyze all these connected financial signals in real time to actually anticipate and detect important life events just as they're starting to happen. It's the difference between being reactive and being a truly proactive guide for your clients. Which, of course, brings us to AI. So many AI projects are failing because they lack one crucial thing: context. Generative AI especially can just make stuff up. It can produce totally speculative, untrustworthy answers. The key point is this: AI has to be grounded in verified facts. And this is where our graph database becomes a knowledge graph, a trusted, explainable foundation for your AI to stand on. This slide just lays out the process perfectly. You take all those raw, fragmented pieces of data, you feed them into an AI relationship engine, and what it builds is a trusted knowledge graph. This graph then acts as an anchor for the AI. It makes sure that its outputs aren't just intelligent, but that they're also controlled, auditable, and explainable, which in a regulated industry is absolutely non-negotiable. So, where do you go from here? For COOs and other leaders listening, this isn't just some tech problem you can delegate. This is a strategic move that you have to make. So here's a really pragmatic three-step action plan. Number one, you have to frame this as a core business strategy, not just another IT project. Number two, don't try to boil the ocean. Start small. Pick a single high-value problem that really matters, like maybe risk aggregation or client onboarding. And number three, and this is critical, overlay this new capability on top of your existing systems. This is not about ripping and replacing everything all at once. We'll end with a question for you to take back to your team. Looking at your own organization, where does relationship visibility break down the most? Is it in client onboarding, risk aggregation, giving your advisors the context they need, or maybe in regulatory reporting? The answer to that question? Well, that's your starting point.